I find it so important to find a dog breed that matches your lifestyle. That is so important to me. I enjoy talking about that topic a lot. And I find it so important and so crucial to research, maybe over research, um, when you are trying to find a dog that matches your lifestyle. I think a lot of us, especially a lot of us women, we would like a dog to protect us. I mean, not everybody. A lot of people just like the happy-go-lucky dogs, and that's great. But I think a lot of us women out here, we like the idea of having a tougher dog breed, a dog breed that could potentially protect us in a moment if need be. At least that's a big draw to me as a woman who loves to hike. And I just think that there's like a level of freedom that could potentially give me. And I think that I'm not alone in that. And I think a lot of men are drawn to these tougher dog breeds as an aid in protecting the family and protecting the home. And those are all really good, qualities in a dog to be this protector. But I think one thing that people often miss is that if your dog has a natural protective instinct in them, because I mean, let's be for real, a lot of dogs could have the potential of protecting you. Even a Labrador could have the potential of protecting you when you're in danger. I think there are a lot of different dogs out there, depending on the personality, who can pick up on threats and danger and act on their feet if need be. I don't think that those are necessarily breed specific, but more personality specific. And so if you are really wanting a dog for this purpose, it is good to look into different breeds. But that being said, I think a lot of people don't really know where to start looking, or they don't really have a good idea of what they're looking for. They just go for it. They maybe hear about Rottweilers being capable of protecting the home and being natural protectors, and they think like, oh, that's it, that's what I want. And I think also there's a great deal of people out there who go strictly based off of looks. Like, this dog looks scary. There is something in the dog community called scary dog privilege. And, of course, scary can mean numerous different things to numerous different people, right? Some people would find a Belgian Malinois very scary. To me, I'm not intimidated by them in the slightest. But, or a Mastiff. There's a lot of people out here who would see an English, standard, classic English Mastiff and be super intimidated by that because they've got the giant jowls and the wrinkles and the big blocky head and the tall stature. And so that's enough of a deterrent for a lot of people. To me, I see an English Mastiff and I see big old baby. I think that's a big factor too. But it's super important to think about this sort of thing when you are looking for a protector for the home. Because you might just need a visual protector. You might be looking for something realistically, something that's going to be sweet to everybody you let in the door. That means your kids' friends, your neighbor, anybody that you open the door to. You want a dog that's going to be friendly and accepting and kind to that person. But you also want some sort of deterrent for, whether you're out of the home or in the home. And that might just be one of the gentle giants, It's actually kind of crazy because, there's a lot of people who are just intimidated by larger dogs in general. And that might be a deterrent. A big ferocious sounding, a big deep bark might be enough of a deterrent for some households. And if you get into that territory, some of the other giant dog breeds might be perfect for you that aren't necessarily visually intimidating. A Newfoundland, great with families, great with children, great with everybody, but they are massive, massive dogs, well into 200, 250 pounds sometimes. And it's just, that might be enough. And their barks, their barks are very deep, loud. St. Bernard might be good too, because they're a little bit more on the aloof side. So they're not going to be, besties with your neighbor. There's a lot of that. There's also a lot of protectors out there that people might not realize are protectors, like an Alaskan Malamute. These dogs are a lot more bold than you would imagine. You think, oh, they're just like bigger, fluffier Siberian Huskies, but that couldn't be further from the truth. And in many ways, they are a lot more dog to handle, It's also interesting because there are a lot of these dogs with scary dog privilege who have a bit of a stubborn streak in them, and a lot of people don't realize that either. They want this intimidating dog, but then they don't want the characteristics that come with it. A lot of people get an Akita. I have another video on here about Akitas specifically, because they look ideal to some people. They're tough. They could rough somebody up real easy, real quick. I can handle it. The kids will like him because he's a little fluffier. He's like a husky without being neurotic, without being too crazy, and without having the escape artist nature. They're also extremely loyal. All these things sound appealing about an Akita, right? But then, can you yourself train them? Are you not even just the capability, but do you have the time? Do you have the energy? Do you have the effort? Because you got to be a sharp-minded person to have one of these. And, I have a whole other video talking about specifically the Akita and really the type of owners that should own them, and it's very different than what you might imagine. And very different from much of the owners who do own them, which is rough. But many other dog breeds out there that are popular for their scary dog privilege, but aren't great for all families. And you definitely have to be a strong-minded owner to have one. Another really popular one are Rottweilers. I've met many Rotties in my day, and I think a lot of people think, oh, like, they're the best of both worlds. They could rough somebody up. They're a good house protector. They don't ask any questions. They'll get right to the point. They are suspicious of people, but they're great with families. They love children. They, all of that. But you do have to be a strong owner to have one. You have to know your boundaries, know the rules, set them clearly. Kind of be on your dog a little bit. And, in my personal experience, I grew up knowing a lot of people with them, and every person's house that I had been to, and I was a kid, little, like 8, 9, 10, throughout my childhood, going over to these people's houses who had Rotties, and, they love their family, and they didn't dislike me, but they were suspicious of me, big time. And not because I was doing anything. I'm just a kid. I'm hanging out with my buddies. But they were always watching. It's interesting because, the dog might usually hang out with the parents. But right when your kid brings over their friend that's a kid, right when your friend brings over their friends, or your kid, you know what I mean, your dog's watching them like a hawk, and it's not necessarily to protect all of the kids. They're mostly there to protect your kid. And it's like, I don't know, dude. And they might even generally like your friends' kids. But if anything even remotely looks a certain way, if you do not have a handle on your dog, they might interpret it a different way. If you haven't set these clear boundaries with your dog and these clear expectations with your dog, and they're always going to be the ones who want to sniff and check out who's at the door first, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when it's your longtime best friend, they're getting a little too close to you, and you haven't set those boundaries with your dog. Horror stories aren't uncommon, and so it's like you kind of got to be on it. And now people are wanting to get Malinois, which is insane. You've got to be a certain type of owner to have a Malinois, for sure. And by a certain type of owner, I mean, like, you've got to change your life, pal. You can't, like, the life that you have now with your family and your kids, and you've got to rework your entire life to be the type of person to own one of them. It's not this bring one home, they'll fit into our life type of a situation. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that. They think, I want a protector, I want a tough dog breed. And a lot of women out there, women, us ladies, what do we expect from our dog? Do we feel like we are strong physically, but also strong mentally to handle this? Are we equipped? Are we able to set clear boundaries and clear information to our dog? And we got to make sure that we set these boundaries before these dogs get too big, because a lot of us cannot physically handle it. A lot of men cannot physically handle these powerful dogs. And so training starts early, and it's active. And, training doesn't just begin and end in the dog's life. Training is an ongoing thing through a dog's life. It really should be anyway. But anyway, a lot of things to consider and think about when looking for dogs with scary dog privilege, or these tougher dog breeds, these natural protectors. Maybe it's just the look that you need. And if it's just the look that you need, you might have an easier time. Like I mentioned before, English Mastiff, big babies, sweethearts. They have been known at moments, there's different stories from different people who have said that their Mastiff has the capability of protecting them. And they're very good at observing a situation. But naturally, they aren't there for that. I think their face and their stature is deterrent enough, and their bark. And when you invite people over, they're going to be just sweethearts. And that's kind of what I think a lot of people want, realistically. I think that's what a lot of people need, even. And makes everybody feel more comfortable. Your kids' friends will feel a lot more comfortable with a dog that's matching your lifestyle than a dog you don't have the time and the energy and the capabilities and the resources to train right now. But that is that. So, things to consider. I think, German Shepherds are great family dogs, but, similarly, what lines are you getting? I think a lot of people are also drawn to the working lines, but then, it's a high energy, high drive dog. Are you giving them that? Because if you just want them to be a protector and you don't fulfill their high drive needs, and this goes for a lot of breeds, then the protector is going to be askew, and the protector is not going to be directed in the right ways. And so you might find that the drive is taken over because they aren't being fulfilled in that area. So all that to say, research the breed that you are interested in, and you might find that it is a little bit different than you originally thought would fit your lifestyle. Okay, bye-bye.